I like Call of Duty, and I like Xbox achievements, so it should come as no surprise that I have most of the achievements in most of the games. And now after that weird break they took from the annual releases last year, it's time to get back to it with Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2 has 24 achievements, which is kind of low unfortunately, but I'll take what I can get. Most of them are in the campaign, so that's where I'm going to be starting. In addition to the achievement for simply completing the campaign, there is one to do it on Veteran or Realistic. And honestly, I would have gone straight to Realistic, but that was locked, so I settled for Veteran. Other than that, most of the achievements are mission specific, so I just have to look out for those levels. Everything starts out pretty well. We took out this HVT with a cool missile, but his second in command, Hassan, put up more of a fight. I found out pretty quickly that this game was going to be brutal, especially with these armored guys. But I pushed through and found out that this guy's got American missiles, which leads us to Amsterdam to find out where they came from. This begins the level Wet Work, with the first mission-specific achievements. One to reach the barge without being detected, and another to shoot 3 enemies from underwater. I took out this first guy and got his gun, which I would use to shoot the 3 guys from underwater, but I failed to make it through without being spotted, so I would have to come back later for that one. We discovered that Las Almas is involved with Alcatala and the missiles, but there are no achievements for a while, so we're just going to skip ahead to this scene.
Kids, guns, and balloons. There's a new one.
And then we're going to skip ahead again to this level, Recon by Fire. Some crazy stuff had happened, which led to us checking this island for the stolen missiles, but more importantly I have to make sure not to set off the alarm for the next achievement. This involves following all of Price's instructions and making sure my shots are lined up perfectly. But if I did mess up, I could just reload the last checkpoint. Fortunately, clearing these buildings doesn't require much stealth, but it's the guys who show up afterwards that were troublesome. I made the mistake of taking out this one right before a checkpoint, and his body was in the perfect spot to be found by his buddies, so I had to move fast to take out the others. It took many attempts and I was worried I had screwed myself, but I got really lucky with this no-scope headshot before the last guy had the chance to sound the alarm. After that was just one more building to clear and another sniping section, at which point the achievement would unlock. Oh, and Laswell got caught, so now we gotta go save her. This leads us to Violence and Timing, where I had to drive 5 types of vehicles and reach Price in the first vehicle I use. I figured that I should go for the 5 types of vehicles one, since I had no idea what this mission would entail, especially on Veteran, but despite my best efforts, I would not get this achievement on my first playthrough. At least we got Laswell back. Next is El Sin Nombre, because El Sin Nombre might just know where those missiles are, so it's up to us to capture them, quietly. The guards must all be sleep deprived because it was pretty easy to sneak past them, at least until I got to the roof. The positioning and movement of these guys made it pretty difficult to stay out of sight, and oftentimes when I threw a bottle it would attract the wrong guard. In the end it was mostly due to luck that I even got through it, but that still counts. Anyway, we catch El Sin Nombre, who turns out to be more of a La Sin Nombre, and we make a deal with her for the location of the missiles and Hassan. Turns out the missiles are on an oil rig, which we go to in the level Dark Water, but I'm guessing there will also be a ship at some point since I have to advance 90 meters without touching the deck. This is also the level where you can kill the guy in the porta potty. My teammate got him first, so I reloaded the checkpoint and stole the kill. We then find just one of the missiles, but uh-oh, the guidance system is actually on a nearby ship, which means that it's achievement time. Okay, so this achievement is actually really hard. It's easy to miss the jumps when everything is moving, and sometimes I just slide right off the containers. Movement and cover were very limited, which was only made worse because of the difficulty, and the checkpoints were pretty spaced out, so messing up could set me back pretty far. I got close a couple of times, but eventually gave up when I accidentally lowered the difficulty instead of reloading a checkpoint, which meant that this level probably would not be counted as being complete on Veteran. I changed the difficulty back and reset the checkpoint again, but we'll just have to wait until the end to see if it even counts. In total, I spent over an hour on this section, 45 going for the achievement, and another 30 or so trying to do it normally. Oh yeah, and I touched the deck when I first got to the ship, so I probably wouldn't have gotten it anyway. We destroyed the missile on the oil rig and tried to return to base, but Shepard and Graves had other plans and tried to kill us. Now we're on the level alone, which must be completed without firing a gun. However, that does not mean I have to be stealthy, and I took full advantage of that. I used explosives, Molotovs, bottles, and did some very risky takedowns, whatever it took to stay alive. Eventually we meet up with Ghost, and thankfully he can still use his gun, so I let him take out most of the remaining guys. We took a truck to escape, and the achievement is unlocked. Now we just gotta save all the guys that Shadow Company detained in the level Prison Break. This level has 2 achievements, one for completing the CCTV section in under 4 minutes, which I did not do, and another for killing stunned enemies with the 3 types of grenades. So I spent this level throwing all of my tactical and lethal equipment, but oftentimes my teammates would steal the kills, or I would die while I was throwing them. It wasn't until the end of the level that I got the achievement, which was largely due to the backpack refill in this room. This level also has riot shields, which I picked up and got 3 kills with for another achievement. Through a flashback level, we learn that Shepard and Graves are the ones who lost the missiles and that this whole thing is a cover-up. So now, with the gang back together, we can take them down. Oh my god! Anyway, this is Ghost Team, and I have to shoot all the targets in the training area for this level's achievement. Overall, this level isn't too bad, but oh my god, this section where you chase Graves is awful. You gotta go fast, otherwise you'll fail, but these guys will kill you with one shot, so you can't go too fast. I played this part over and over for so long, and I'm honestly not even sure how I got past it. I'm just glad that I did. This then leads to the Graves boss fight, in which he uses a tank. Now, after that last section, I really didn't want to run around shooting however many targets while being one-shotted by this tank, so after a few tries, I decided to come back for this one later. With Graves and Shadow Company out of the way, we can go back to stopping those pesky missiles. Valeria lets us know that Hassan and the last missile are in Chicago, so we gotta go stop them in the level countdown. But first, I need to save some hostages without the guards firing their weapons. The hostages and their captors are on 3 different levels. The first one has 2 enemies, which can be taken out at the same time by lining up the shot. The next floor has 4 guys. First I killed the 2 that were together, and then I took out the 2 individual guys. The last floor has 4 more guys. Once again, I took out the first 2 with 1 shot, and then I just rapid fired at the remaining 2 to make sure I got them. Now all I had to do was finish the game. This level was really challenging. There were just so many enemies and very little room for error, but I powered through it, stopped the last missile and Hassan, and finished the campaign. I earned the 1 achievement for just completing it, but I did not get the 1 for doing it on Veteran. At least not until the credits ended. Did they do that on purpose to scare us? Because it worked. God, this game was really punishing. It did make the clearing sections more fun, but there were a lot of parts that felt nearly impossible. I'm glad that I did it, but I'm also glad that I won't need to do it again for the achievement. I'm looking forward to playing it on Realistic. Anyway, time to go back for those mission-specific achievements that I missed. First I got Nessie, which is for reaching the barge without being seen in wet work. However, you can't just sneak past the enemies, you have to take them all out in order to progress the level. The main thing is to be very careful, and reloading the checkpoint whenever I messed up. But the toughest part about this achievement is taking out the 2 guys on the boat. What I did was save them for last, and when they were lined up, I fired several shots until they were both dead. And even though the indicator turned yellow when I killed them, I still got the achievement. Next were the 2 achievements from Violence and Timing. I got keeping this one first by reaching Price in the first vehicle I hijacked. What I didn't realize is that when a vehicle reaches critical damage, its health will slowly drain until it explodes. Had I known that, I would have driven more carefully because this part with the mines was a huge pain. I wonder if I could have just rode on top of the trucks for a while before hijacking one. In the second vehicle section, I tried to drive the 5 different types of vehicles for test drive, but something was wrong. So I did a quick Google search and found out that the civilian vehicles on the side of the road do count as one of the 5, and with that knowledge, the achievement became very easy. I then went back to dark water to jump around on more containers, this time making sure to get onto the first one without touching the deck. Even on regular, this achievement was still kinda hard, but at least I wasn't being killed as fast. I made it as far as I could by jumping on the containers, but I didn't earn the achievement, which made me pretty nervous. I jumped up the side and kept going towards the objective, at which point the achievement did unlock. And let me tell you, I'm glad to have this one done. The next one is No Time to Lose in Prison Break for completing the CCTV section in 4 minutes or less. I watched one guide to make sure there were no shortcuts in this section, but it turns out the only real strategy is to know the route and be aggressive. I also got Daredevil on this level by blinding myself with a flashbang and spamming the aim assist to kill 2 enemies. I then returned to Ghost Team to get Practice Makes Perfect. I found that even on Recruit, Graves can still kill you pretty fast with that tank, so what I did was shoot about half of the 33 targets, hit the tank to get a checkpoint, and then got the other half. That leaves just 1 achievement left in the campaign, which is to unlock the 3 safes. I followed a guide for the first 2, but then I realized the combos were hidden somewhere in the same room, so I made sure not to see what it was for the 3rd safe so that I could find it myself. I opened the last one, and earned the achievement. That makes 18 out of 24 achievements unlocked. Now I just have the remaining 6 from co-op.